let's jump into the second one. The second one, now you said, hey, Chris, I've defined my voice. I found my passions. I trust. I'm showing up vulnerably. I'm showing up authentically to who I am. I'm ready for that next step. The next step in this branding process now is like, you want to start showcasing that expertise, right? And this showcasing the expertise can come down to, this could be videos. Maybe some people aren't a lot of videos. I love videos because for me, getting in like typing and like sitting there through and like typing everything out, or, it just takes too long. And I'd rather just get in a video, get in a conversation and talk to people directly. So you want to start showcasing that expertise, right? And that's through various channels, right? That could be through Facebook, that could be through Instagram, that could be through X, Twitter, right? That could be through LinkedIn, that could be through YouTube, that could be through a lot of different avenues, but you want to start showcasing that expertise. Really a great person that I was able to meet last year and coming up the conference circuit I was at was actually not a finance person. They were actually a marketer. And what they did a really great job in marketing is like they were a marketer that helped professional services companies like contractors and like people that work in the healthcare space to be better marketers for their business, right? A common pitfall that they've seen and through and this is their experience, right? Like they came up in helping connect people to like autistic based services. They did that. They were RBT, which is a registered behavioral therapist. So like they had that experience. And then one of the pitfalls that they seen was like how these business owners don't do a really good job of marketing their business and marketing their services. So I actually met this person when I was in New York, and one of the ways that she showcases her experiences, and she has a really big following on YouTube. She has a really big following there. And she's like, I love showcasing and giving these pitfalls, right? And I checked out a couple of her videos and I loved how authentically she was. Like you could tell she's speaking from a place of passion and she's speaking from a place of expertise, right? And she found her method, she found her audience, she found who she wanted to connect with, and she shared that experience, right? And not only did the thing I really admired about her is, and I'll make sure in the description to drop that channel so you can have that as a good reference of like maybe someone outside of finance that you can see that is doing a really good job of building a great personal and professional brand for themselves. I'll make sure to drop that in the description to this video. But I loved how she connected the dots and not only showed like she gave like really common pitfalls and struggles that she was having and not only building her business, but also in some of the experiences that she had in working with some of the companies that she was working with. So my second point around that is you want to start showcasing that expertise, specifically talking to finance, accounting, FP&A, CFO, and fractional CFO professionals, right? A common way to showcase that experience is LinkedIn, right? I mean, you see it all over the place. LinkedIn is one of our primary social channels that we have here at Fresh FP&A. So you can leverage that and show that expertise, right? And it's a lot of different methods you can show it. It could be video, right? Some people are really great at video. Some people are like, nope, I'm not doing that. Some people, it's really insightful insights, right? Some of it is like use cases and client testimonials that you can have, right? So what you want to do around that showcasing your expertise is I look at it as building like a portfolio, right? Like whatever means that you want to establish your brand, there's different portfolio avenues that somebody can engage with it on, right? I know for me personally in building my brand, I love video. Video is just like my thing. Like I love it. My team, we made a significant investment in building an entire content thing around it, content studio, equipment. I've nerded out in learning like the exposure triangle and apertures and polar patterns. So I've really like dove deep into that. And that's because I want to show my expertise and show that knowledge in the best platform as possible, right? Top quality stuff. So when you're thinking about showcasing your expertise, I'm not saying you have to go like 0 to 100, right? I'm not advising to go make significant amount of investment in audio, lighting, all that equipment, right? But you got to start. Right? You got to start showcasing that expertise. And it kind of gets back to the first point we talked about before, where it's like people were like, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know if my voice actually matters, right? Showcase it, right? I go through LinkedIn, I look at some things and I'm like, I look at learning from everybody, right? So that would be that second point around showcasing that expertise, some common ways to do it, finding the methods and avenues you want to talk about. I think sharing experiences that you've learned, right? Here's a great thing that I think every professional has gone through, right? You know that like this SMART acronym, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time sensitive, right? Those are great ways to showcase. That's a great framework to use to showcase your experiences, right? Like maybe you were a lot of people are coming out of budgets, and maybe this is your first time or your 1,000th time going through a budget, and you're like, man, I want to share some smart tips for people on my experience in my voice about what I learned from this budgeting process, right? Share it, get it out there, showcase that expertise. And then with this one, some common pitfalls that I see around showcasing expertise is that the first common pitfall that I see is people expect like you look at all this great high quality stuff and you're like, I can never replicate that. And that prevents you from starting to showcase your expertise, right? Like I don't have the super nice 4K 30 frames per second 50 millimeter f.1 aperture setup. Like I don't have that. You got to start, man. So don't let like that quality aspect prevent you from releasing some really great information, right? Another pitfall that I see people make in terms of like showcasing their expertise is it kind of starts to feel like it's like, hey, this isn't like a therapy session. Right? Like sometimes it feels that way. Maybe drop in the chat if you feel like my videos sometimes are therapy sessions, right? But you can kind of see like that showcasing of expertise is like it's a very long, and it's like, hey man, can you get to like the specific points? So my point around that pitfall is you don't put structure around it, right? Here's a great tip and this is a simple tip that I've learned, right? I learned this probably when I was in like 3rd grade around paragraphs, right? If you look at, and this is my subtle secret, so for everybody looking at it, you want to know a secret sauce of fresh FP&A, I look at like structures of like how you do a paragraph, right? There's an intro, there's like 3 takeaways, and there's a concluding paragraph. I remember learning that in like English class when I was in like 3rd grade. It was like, hey, if you want to do a really great paragraph, you have the great introduction, you have like, or maybe like a paper, maybe it's not like a paragraph, maybe it's a paper, but you do like an intro, you have like 3 points that either supplement, disagree, or validate with that intro and the hypothesis, and you have a great conclusion at the end. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I'm kind of going to do everything. So I've literally taken that exact framework and just applied it over to when we share our expertise or things like this. You can go look at this. Here's my challenge. Go look at my last 4 posts on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and you'll see that same structure, right? You'll see a great title, you'll see a great intro, you'll see 3 takeaways, and maybe it's a conclusion or a call to action at the end. Super easy, like linear path of how you're going through. That's a great way that you can just start showcasing your experience, right? And from the technology side, shoot it on your iPhone, right? Like shoot on your iPhone, or I'm team Android, so hey, shout out to all those iPhone users that just got USB Type-C. We've had that for a long time. So, I won't even talk about all the different great things we have with Android. But that could be a great way, right? Like, get your phone out, have a great structure. So those are like 2 common pitfalls I see around sharing your expertise. And again, for that person I was referencing, I'll make sure to drop that in the description so you can see that person's how they're building their personal brand and how they're showcasing their experience, right? And how they're showing up.